Hey, okay, welcome back. Welcome to week 2, Observing the Mind. So, the objective of this week 2 is just to be able to watch our thoughts without attachment. Okay, so we're not trying to change our thoughts, we're not trying to think more positive. We are literally trying to watch our thoughts without attachment. And Eckhart Tolle, he teaches this as he has a phrase, a term called watch the thinker. So the thoughts that you're seeing in your head is the thinker, and we just want to be able to watch the thoughts happen, okay, without attachment. So Eckhart teaches that this is the key to all change. When we're able to just watch our thoughts without needing to react to it, without attachment to it, that's when we have the power, when we have the choice of who we want to be, instead of just going with our thoughts and going on this journey. So the idea is that we want to just watch our thoughts and we want to be the observer of our thoughts, because you've got you, and this is what Eckhart teaches, that you've got you as the conscious awareness, you are the observer, and then you've got your thoughts. So Eckhart teaches that there's you observing, and then it's watching the thoughts go on in your head. And a lot of our suffering comes from believing that we are our thoughts. So if I'm walking down the road and I have a judgment, maybe I'm walking and I'll be like, oh my God, I hate that outfit. And then my next thought might be like, oh my God, I'm a bad person for thinking that, for having that judgment. But the thing is, the real me is the observer, the consciousness beyond that is just watching the thoughts say that. Like, it doesn't mean I can just watch that thought and then just continue. I don't have to attach that thought is something I said, and then that must make me a bad person. And then, because then you go down the rabbit hole of it, okay? Whereas I could just watch that thought being like, oh my God, that's horrible what that person's wearing. I can just see that thought, ignore it and carry on, and not attach a story to it that thought means that I'm a bad person or a judgmental person. Okay, so this is all about watching the thinker, learning to be able to observe our thoughts, because we have 70,000 thoughts a day. And a lot of the time we're just always in the mind, and it's just constantly going on. And there's so many thoughts that we're not even aware of that we have. And if we can become aware of those thoughts, we can choose to not put energy into them, not feed them anymore. Okay, so the exercise for this week is going to help you to be able to do that, to be able to watch your thoughts. And we just want to witness the thought and just let it float on by like a cloud passing in the sky. Okay, that's going to be the focus that we want to attach to. It's ironic because we're saying not attaching to the thoughts, but that's going to be the focus of watching your thoughts. And as I said, we're not trying to change them, not trying to fix your thoughts, we're not trying to get rid of negative thoughts. Just being aware of them, okay? Just watching them as best you can. So Eckhart teaches that just by becoming aware of our thoughts and observing our thoughts, it leads to less stress and less anxiety, because a lot of those thoughts are about the future or about the past. So if we're able to just observe them instead of attaching to them or identifying with them, then we're going to have less stress. We're going to have less stress. Like, the amount of times that a lot of the times that we're stressed are because our mind is saying, it's going through all the future scenarios of what could happen. Oh my God, this might happen if I go down this route. This might happen if I go down this route. And it also puts you in a place of indecision and limbo. Okay, so Eckhart teaches that the more we can just observe that, it's actually going to reduce stress, reduce anxiety, because we're not trying to preempt the future based on our past. And again, Eckhart teaches this, that the mind is trying to predict our future, but based on our past. But if we're trying to change who we are, then we don't want to predict the future based off of our past. Because if we're a socially anxious person in the past, our mind's going to predict that in the future we're going to be a socially anxious person. And it's going to put us in all these scenarios where it's going to show us images of us being anxious in social gatherings. Or if there's something out of our comfort zone, we have to do a talk in front of someone, it's going to show us the pain of that, okay? So that's where we want to not attach to that, because we don't, if you don't want to be a socially anxious person, why do we want to project that into the future. Okay. Now, another benefit of this is just by watching the thoughts and resting as the observer, we become aware of what kind of thought patterns we're having all the time. Like, is there a not good enough radio station, like loop playing all the time? You know, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough at that. I'm not good enough at this. Is it just replaying all the time throughout your day? But if we're not aware of it and the thoughts are just running on the background, imagine the suffering that we're feeling for that. Okay, so we want to, the more we can become aware of that, then we can see these different radio stations that are playing, the I'm not good enough radio station, the I'm unlovable radio station, and we can kind of see these and see what's going on under the hood, you know what I mean? What's going on underneath? What are all these patterns of behavior underneath that are constantly chattering away without us realizing? And it's really important to remember that this is a practice, and the more you engage with it, the easier it will become. If you've spent 30 years of your life letting your mind run wild, it may feel very challenging at first to then start watching your thoughts. And I should say as well that in the meditation, when you first meditate, you are going to see a fuckload of thoughts, okay? That is normal. That actually means it's a good meditation. If you realize you've been thinking a lot in a meditation, that means it's a good meditation. The goal of a meditation isn't to just have no thoughts. It's just to become aware. It's to watch the thoughts. Okay, that is the goal of the meditations, of meditation in general. Okay, so that's what I want you to focus on. Don't beat yourself up if you're thinking loads. Don't beat yourself up if you get lost in thoughts. I can promise you that happens. It happens to everyone. You are not alone. Okay, so when you realize you've been thinking, just bring it back to just watching the thoughts and being aware of the thoughts, watching the thinker, as Eckhart Tolle says.